How did a brief line spoken at an award ceremony come to represent months of audience engagement and creative exchange? At a recent television honors event on March 20, 2026, Xiao Zhan offered a short but deliberate response that echoed far beyond the stage, drawing attention back to the final episode of the drama Legend of the Tibetan Sea and the sustained viewer interaction that followed its broadcast. During the ceremony, which recognized achievements in television production, Xiao Zhan addressed the wave of audience commentary surrounding the series finale. When prompted about the concise yet emotionally charged viewer messages that circulated widely online, he responded with a simple acknowledgement, "Thank you, everyone." He also referenced a key line associated with the character's narrative closure, "Ji Nu, sleep well," a phrase that had previously appeared as a personal note marking his farewell to the role. This response did not emerge in isolation. It formed part of a longer chain of communication between performer and audience that began at the conclusion of filming. Xiao Zhan has maintained a consistent practice of writing short farewell messages to his characters at the end of each project. In this case, his note addressed the character by a name that was not explicitly stated within the storyline but could be inferred through narrative details. The phrasing conveyed both empathy for the character's journey and a sense of release from the story's emotional weight. Following the release of the final episode, audience reactions quickly converged around this same line. Viewers participating in live comment streams repeatedly echoed the phrase, adapting it into short messages that reflected both personal interpretation and collective sentiment. These comments became one of the most visible forms of engagement during the broadcast period, functioning as a shared language between the production and its audience. At the awards ceremony interview segment, Xiao Zhan elaborated on this phenomenon. He noted that the audience's ability to identify the character's implied name demonstrated close attention to narrative detail. According to his explanation, the concise comments were not random expressions but rather a distilled form of understanding, capturing the essence of the character's story in just a few words. His public acknowledgement reinforced the idea that these viewer contributions had been seen and recognized. The interaction between creators and viewers had already been established prior to this moment. When the series finale originally aired, the production team included a closing message directed at the audience, thanking them for their continued support and referring to them with an affectionate term that emphasized closeness and appreciation. This gesture set the tone for a broader exchange, positioning the audience not only as recipients of the story but also as active participants in its interpretation. Throughout the broadcast period, audience engagement extended beyond standard viewership metrics. Many viewers took on an analytical role, examining plot developments, decoding symbolic elements, and discussing aspects of cultural heritage embedded in the series. The drama incorporated multiple references to traditional craftsmanship and performance art, which became focal points for discussion and reinterpretation across online platforms. These conversations generated a wide range of user-created content, from detailed breakdowns to humor-driven adaptations. From an industry perspective, the series also demonstrated measurable performance across distribution channels. It maintained a strong presence on its primary streaming platform, sustaining high levels of activity over consecutive days and generating consistent audience interaction. Viewership figures across platforms indicated broad reach, while engagement indicators such as comment volume and participation in real-time discussions highlighted the depth of audience involvement. In response to this sustained interaction, the platform introduced a dedicated section designed to compile viewer-generated messages, including the short comments that had become closely associated with the series finale. This feature provided a structured space for audience expression, further reinforcing the connection between the content and its viewers. Additionally, post-broadcast advertising performance suggested that this level of engagement translated into tangible commercial outcomes, illustrating how audience participation can align with broader industry objectives. Commentary from industry professionals also reflected on this dynamic. Screenwriter Lan Xiaolong described the approach as indicative of a growing confidence within the industry, one that allows audiences greater freedom to interpret and respond to narrative works. This perspective aligns with a broader shift toward interactive storytelling models, where meaning is not solely defined by the creators but emerges through ongoing dialogue with viewers. Taken together, the events surrounding the series finale, the audience response, and Xiao Zhan's remarks at the awards ceremony illustrate a continuous feedback loop between production and reception. The brief exchange on stage served as a visible of connection within this larger process, linking individual performance, collective interpretation, and measurable industry impact. For more in-depth coverage of television trends and audience engagement across Asian entertainment, Subscribe to Rabbit News Hallyu and stay connected with our latest updates.